had a dream about you, babe. We floated through clouds of misty gray. There was a sea of green below. Are we drifters or shall we call this place home? I had a dream about you, babe. We floated through clouds of misty gray. There was a sea of green below. Are we drifters or shall we call this place home? Since we met, you've been the realest, so refreshing. I feel like I have no.
I had a dream about you, babe. We floated through clouds and misty gray. There was a sea, green below. Are we drifters or shall we call this place home? I had a dream about you, babe. We floated through clouds and misty gray. There was a sea, green below. Are we drifters or shall we call this place home? Since we met, you've been the realest, so refreshing. I feel like I have known you for so long. I can be myself when I'm with you.
Rest assured, the feeling's mutual, I can't ignore that I'm a better person when I'm with you. Can you move? I surrender myself to you. There's chemistry between us, I can't explain. My reaction is to stay with you. I think I'm on that seat with you.
Welcome back to Life and Style on Relationship Wednesday right here at KTN. And we are on This Is Us. It's that segment where we talk about families, we talk to married people, they tell us their stories. So I'm just guiding and the couples usually do the talking. Today, very interesting because I've got a man who is more known for his music. He says this is the very first interview that they're doing as a family, so we're excited because we have the bragging rights. And coming to you all the way from Village Market, the Harvest Restaurant. And today I'm privileged to talk to TETU SHANI and together with his wife, LOUISE. How are you guys doing?
Well, thank you.
You very well?
Yeah.
Doing great.
Well, you know, before we started off, LOUISE was saying TETU does a better job with interviews. And he said, this is the first time that you guys have ever done any interview. Hope you're okay for it, though. Most people know you for your music. And even when somebody goes, even when somebody goes online, you know, Googling and stuff, we don't find much concerning your wife. But you've been married for 4 years. Has that been deliberate?
Yeah, it has. I think we made a deliberate attempt to make our personal life, to protect it, to really guard it, you know, because it's precious to me, and I know that sometimes with a public profile, I don't want my private life to fall under the same scrutiny maybe as my public life and career or whatever. So, you know, I care about my wife a lot. And so I just wanted to wait for the right time, and I feel like this is the right time, you know. It felt very natural, and so we're happy to be here.
There are people who think that when you're a public figure and then you're not bringing out your spouse into the public, either you are not proud of them, or there's something you are hiding, or maybe she's not happy about it. Louise, you were in agreement with him that you wanted to take a back seat?
I mean, you know, at first I didn't understand why he would rather put his music out there, but he brings it out on various occasions, not all out, not all the time, me and my wife. I do that a lot. I'm the one who's, you know, he's my profile picture, and I'm that person and he's not, and I'm okay with that, yeah.
Well, some people fight about that, you know. There are those people who, they would be like, honey, I have you on my profile picture. Why aren't you having me on your profile picture?
It's not about the profile picture.
Okay.
What if someone has you on their profile picture and you're not their number one? You'd rather have someone who every day in their little details, which is what I find is important to me. If someone takes their time, not just on the profile picture, but in their day-to-day activities, in how they call me, how they communicate, to just tell me that I'm number one, which he does. So I don't really care for the profile picture. Yeah.
Well, and you know, just to, just to staying on that, you know, there's always this pressure that comes with being a public figure in various other ways. People are talking about you, they're making comments about you. I mean, he's a fine man. He's a fine man. So you may see everybody making their comments over there, yet he deliberately is trying to keep you off the side. That doesn't worry you?
You see, Pastor, I get this question a lot. I'm glad you brought it up. In fact, even family members ask me, but we dealt with this way before we were married.
Okay.
Because you don't start getting married when you get married. We dealt with issues of other people, how if there have been other people in our lives, we dealt with it. If there's been anyone in my life, I dealt with them. Everything came clean. So that way before I got married, way before we said I do, like, I don't know if they understand. Like there was I do before I do. Yeah. So I tell people we dealt with these things a long time ago. So when he comes home at 2 a.m., I'm not there thinking, what was he up to? Was he with another woman? Any of these things.
When you started, were you already big when you met? Or have you grown within the marriage?
We met at Akesha, our worship team practice.
That's where people meet. That's where people meet, man. That's where people meet.
You know, and then we got to know each other better because I was the drummer. I was the drummer at my church, and she was the worship leader. And literally, that's how we got to know each other. Back then, literally, not even a trace or inclination that my career was going to be in music at all, which was great because we got to know each other without the added pressure of, is she just with me because I'm a public figure, or is he just interested in me because of ABCD? You know, we kind of got to know each other outside of that kind of a pressure. And I think that is the reason why there's not been any increased pressure to kind of make her a part of my career and all this kind of stuff, because the life that we shared and we began started before any of this thing had happened. And you know, you can even talk to her, there's this who I am at home is not TETU SHANI the persona.
Yeah.
It's who I've always been and who she's always known.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's something refreshing about that.
I ask that because there's some men who usually feel like when they have issues at home, then the wife will hit in the place where it will hurt the most, which is like where he works. Show up at a rehearsal and cause chaos over there, you know, throw tantrums and do stuff.
Yeah, no, she's never done that. Thank God. You know, it's funny. People don't understand this about men. Like, I feel like because men, this is opinion, asterisk, this is my opinion. Because I am such a one-track mind person, there's such a high potential to be derailed by maybe if things are not okay with me and my wife. I don't know. I don't know whether women just have a greater capacity to kind of multitask and all this kind of stuff, but a lot of my guy friends, even the married ones, we talk about how just literally a fight with our wives ruins the whole day. You can't focus on work, you can't do anything, you know? And so I think she's been really great in understanding that and just trying as much as possible for us to figure out the right times to talk about things and the wrong times, which is right before I have a performance.
And it has come with some learning. I wasn't like that at first. First, I used to.
You used to be like, let's talk about it now.
So you think your work is more important and all kinds of things. So, but now you like, because what you understand about men is that they're so connected. It's like a man and his work, it's like the same thing. Yeah. So you don't mess with that.
Yeah.
And when you respect his work, he's able to now listen.
Can you preach right to the camera?
Respect it. A man and his work are it's like the one and the same thing, very connected. So you find a man that is, when they're supported in his work and when you support him, you encourage him, you find that man is a better man even at home.
You know, I say that all the time to the ladies, not to condone the bad stuff that men do, but you destroy his work, he doesn't know how to move again. And then sometimes you see you work out your relationship and then you still need him to work. but you messed up the very same thing that he needs to use to take care of you, and he finds some validation about. So sometimes when women get angry, anger is very short-sighted. So, but let me go back to the Kesha. Let me go.
Famous Kesha, yeah.
Let me go back to the Kesha. So you met in this Kesha. Then what happened after that? How did you pick it up?
You know, actually, when we first met, it wasn't much more than nice looking girl.
Right.
You know. And by the way, there's always going to be two versions of this story. Yeah, you just need to
Yes.
understand.
And his is always the wrong one. But go on.
So, but I mean, really, the foundation of the relationship was friendship, which was new for me because I was always someone who rushed into relationships, and this was actually the first time that I had the opportunity to just kind of be friends with someone for a significant period of time. And then through that is when I began to realize, oh, okay, wow, like, you know, the conversation is really flowing. This is someone who I feel like I've known for longer than I've known her, you know, and there was this feeling of safety as far as vulnerability is concerned. I just felt like I could trust her with some of the things that I'd never told maybe other people. And then, you know, of course, you know, being at church together, being on the worship team, you know, you're conquering mountains together, you know. So over time, I just realized, wow, I think I've fallen in love with Louise.
And I think you've raised something again. Generally, men love to feel safe. They love to feel safe. You know, a lot of times women will say men don't talk, and I say to them, just make it safe. Make it safe. When a man feels that he's safe, then he talks. So you've brought up a very huge element right there, that she made you feel safe. And sometimes people think that, you know, men just go for the looks alone. And of course, you've got a beautiful wife. But then you need the beauty to have safety, right? You don't want drama around the beauty.
Yeah. No, let me tell you, my wife is beautiful and I love her. One interesting thing about marriage is you realize that, I mean, beauty, the whole wow factor of beauty gets old super quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. It doesn't matter. I mean, if a man, for example, if you can picture the most beautiful woman in the world, guarantee 2 weeks in a relationship with her, if things aren't clicking, that beauty does not matter. And, you know, I mean, there's a scripture that says, you know, beauty is fleeting, charm is deceptive, you know, but someone who fears God is worthy to be praised, you know, and that's who she is to me. Beyond even just the beauty and the charm, there was something about her that made me feel safe, because it's a scary world for a man. It's a scary, scary world for a man, and so that's really the treasure that she is to me, is that she provided that kind of safe environment. Yeah.
All right. Does his height matter? Was it a factor?
Lord, where should I start? You know,
Because there's a lot of young girls out there who say, I want someone who's tall.
dark and handsome. I used to say that, and even his height still got me, you know. I still know, oh, you know, there are not so many tall people. He's 6'4". And most people, I've not met, in fact, he was the first person I met that was 6'4". And when I first saw him, I thought, you know, he was still very Americanized. He didn't study in Kenya. So he didn't have the typical Kenyan accent and ways of thinking and all of that. That got me also. And then his height and, you know, his love for the word, his humor, he's such a clown. So, yeah, he's a clown. He's a clown when he's into it. So all these things they matter to me, Percy. You always say you want a taller, stronger man, because all these things matter to a woman. Although, like he said, just getting tall is not enough. Getting a tall guy is not enough. There are lots of other things, but I'm glad that I got a package. Yeah.
Did you ever break up before you got
my
married? Did you ever break up?
Are you seeing this through some sort of lens?
I'm prophetic.
It was
Yeah, you're walking in the prophetic, bro. Yeah, we actually broke up.
Yeah.
We broke up, you know. And look, I'm gonna say something a bit weird. Like, not that everyone should break up before they commit fully, but I feel like there's always a life-defining or relationship-defining conflict that happens. I think that really tests a relationship to see what the foundation is. And so we went through that. what you need to know is like we broke up for like 4 hours.
Is that even a break?
By the time I'd made it to town,
The thing is, I lived in Rai. My mom, where we lived in Rai. So he came and that's why he broke up with me. Because I was being too proud. He was trying to talk to me, but he couldn't get through. So at last he said, okay, maybe this is not working, so it's not like he had tried, he was trying, but I was shutting him out. So then he decides, okay, so this is not looking like it's working. By the time he got to town, I was behind him.
I don't know how she found me in town.
He's
I
tall.
have no clue. Because me, I jumped on a mat, and I can't remember, was it Roland Gala or whatever that I got?
Yeah,
or
Ronald
whatever.
Gala, yeah.
By the time I got to the double M buses, she was there. I don't know how, because I didn't see her behind me when I...
How did you do that?
By the time he left,
You used the broom, the one the witches use or something?
I was in the matatu. Now after he's gone, so he's walked out of the gate. And then I say, oh my God, what have I just done? Then I go pack my things. It was like a telenovela. Pack my things. I was meant to travel that day. Pack my things. I hop onto the next matatu. In the matatu, I'm just praying, Lord, please let him not go any further. Let me just find him in town. And then I just alight like this, and I see him across the road.
But I'm also tall, so in town you just see a tall guy striding.
So I see him across the road, and I run and I hold his hand, and I'm crying, and
What time was that?
it was in the evening. He was there all day. So
Because I'm just thinking, it's daytime. There's everybody around.
Yes, in fact, people are looking at him.
It was drama, and they all hated me. Literally, as people were walking by, they were walking by and looking at me like, this guy. Whatever he's done to her, listen, you're better than that, boo. You're better.
Yeah.
You're
So on
better.
my side.
I had a dream about you, babe. We floated through clouds in misty gray. There was a sea, cream alone. Are we drifters or shall we call this place home? I had a dream about you, babe. We floated through clouds in misty gray. There was a sea, green below. Oh, are we drifters or shall we call this place home? Ever since we met, you've been the realest, so refreshing. I feel like I have known you for so long. I can be myself when I'm with you.
Rest assured, the feeling's mutual, I can't ignore that I'm a better person when I'm with you. Can I move? I surrender myself to you. There's chemistry between us, I can't explain. My reaction is to stick with you. I think I want to stick with you.
But had you ever done something like walked out on her before? Before that time?
He was very patient.
No,
Is that what woke you up? Like you had never thought he would get to a place where he would walk away?
Yeah. He was actually very patient. A lot of times he'd try and explain to me, but this time I was just like, you know what? You learn. You'll know who I am. Hey! Then now he sets down the ultimatum. That's when I knew, you know what? Get rid of your pride and, go get
but really what that was is trust building. Because as much as I was looking for a safe place, I believe she was looking for a safe place as well. And up until that point, maybe she hadn't realized that my intentions were genuine, because there are a lot of dudes out there, a lot of us have gotten hurt before, and it creates these barriers and it creates this distrust. And then the distrust creates defensiveness, and the defensiveness has corresponding actions. And so I think that was the point. The way that defined the relationship is where we said, okay, no pretense from now on.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. Like, if I care about you and you care about me, let's be real about that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Let's not act like you don't want it.
Yeah, one foot is out, one foot. Yeah, you mean a lot, but either way you can be replaced,
All right. So how long did you date then before you got married?
We dated 3 years.
3 years.
And we were friends for close to a year before we started dating.
Before you started dating. So plus the other 4 years, it's about 8 years.
8 years, yes.
I ask this all the time for people who have dated for a while. There are those who think that if you've dated for long, when you get into marriage, it's very predictable and boring? Was that the case? You all have shaken your head.
You start from scratch.
It's like you never knew him.
Yeah, it's like you never knew them.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Like, you know what? Even if you've dated 7 years, there are people who feel like, okay, I've dated her 7 years, so I know her. Like, I know what she's gonna be like, whatever. No, 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 no. Like, there's levels to this. And there's a certain level that, even a certain ceiling that you'll hit when you're dating, and you cannot go past it, because the way to go past that ceiling is to get married. And then you get married, and then there's certain things that you begin to see about the person and get to know about them that you never ever possibly would have known while you were dating. It's literally starting from scratch. Yeah.
But the foundation of friendship was important, right? What was your greatest adjustment in marriage?
Greatest adjustment. Oh, meeting him, I'd meet him. He's not a morning person. So I'd meet him after he's already woken up to the day. He's, you know, he's okay, he's in good moods and that. So in the morning, I'm wondering, why is this guy like this? He's an introvert. So a lot of the times he'd want to shut himself in a room. He comes home, when he comes home, unwind. Especially when we got the baby, and I'm like, I just want him to walk through the door and I give him the baby, but he's like, no, 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 I need time to unwind. And I used to get mad, but I had to adjust to that because our personalities are totally different. I'm the extrovert, turning introvert now, and he's an introvert, turning extrovert now.
There's usually the exchange, right? In order for it to work, you got to balance that a little bit.
Yeah,
So, you're not a morning person.
No,
at all.
at all.
It's time to wake up, to warm up to any day.
So do you have breakfast in bed? Like, you know, because you've woken up, you have a wife over here. You need to eat, but you're not a morning person.
No, he doesn't eat immediately. So we have breakfast closer to 11.
You had to change
Yeah.
for his sake.
Yeah.
How much have you given up for his sake?
I mean, you're saying it like it's a bad thing.
No, no, no. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just asking.
How much have you given? No, I've gladly had to like read, and I'm sure. Ask him this.
I'm just trying to remind him so that, you know, if he was forgetting, then after
Yeah.
this, he'll just take you out over there and yeah, he'll give you a treat.
Probably go down on his knee again. Anywho, the adjustment was, and I feel like out of love, it's no pressure at all. And that's why when you ask these things, I'm like, oh, no. I don't look at it like that at all. Now I have 2 breakfast sessions because my son is an early riser. And then he's not. So we have this session with him, and then I have the next one with TETU. But, you know, it's a joy to just adjust to everything.
All right. Have you ever felt the pressure, to, you know, of your wife needs to be a public figure just like you are? From outsiders, not from her. We talked about that, and you said, you know, you had settled that initially. Have you ever felt that from outsiders, that she needs to come on and to do the things that you do also?
No, funny enough, no. No, I've never felt that pressure, and people have never put that pressure on me.
I'm asking that because, you know, I used to have that pressure, you know, where everywhere you go, so people ask you, does your wife preach also? Does she preach like you? Does she do the stuff that you do? You know, so yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure, first lady is another level.
Yeah, that one is a different one.
That's another level.
And eventually it's like all pastor's wife just give in and become pastor. So it's reverend and pastor, so and so. Reverend and bishop. But yeah, I understand. Though, what they probably mean is that is she able to teach? Because as long as you're a believer, you can share the word. So there's the pastor who now preaches, but every believer, if they're told to share, they can.
But you see, you were a singer too. Did you give up that because of marriage?
Not because of marriage, because of when I got pregnant. Yeah, but I'm back now.
You're back now. Are you doing it with your hubby?
You?
No. You know, I think one of the things that I'm learning, or one of the things I purpose to do, is to let my wife shine when she needs to shine. So people imagine that because my career is music, that I want to do music all day, every single. No, actually, to a certain degree, my music is my work. Yeah. And there are times where I enjoy, for example, like let's say at church, to sit back and watch her shine and watch her sort of minister and sing in that moment. Because, yeah, like, you know, you might wonder even, oh, do I sing in my church? I don't, and I don't want to. Because actually, like, music, to the degree where, like, when I get home, I don't actually listen to much music. Like, what I do is very different, right? So, yeah, so there's scenes and sort of environments that I want her to shine in where I'm just like, no, I want to take a step back and just chill, you know? Yeah.
Talk about how your son has changed your lives. I read somewhere, I think you must have spoken somewhere and said when your son came, that allowed you to know that there's somebody who's watching, decisions that you got to make. Yeah. And yet he's still a little boy, right? Yeah. So how did that change your life?
A serious level of accountability kind of came into play. When my son arrived, you know, I began to realize that, and even more so now, because now he's approaching 3 years old, and he's really watching me a lot, like emulating my movements, saying the things that I say, you know, and you begin to realize, oh my goodness, my life is not my own. You know, I'm accountable to someone more beyond even just my wife. So I'm accountable to someone who will forever be my son, and I'll forever be his father, you know. And then at the same time, there's also added accountability because I know just that there are a lot of absent fathers, a lot. And so there's the added sort of burden of responsibility of saying, you know what, here's an opportunity to be there for my son, to be present, and to love him, you know. And so we made a conscious decision, even before getting pregnant the first time, that we're going to take whoever comes as a blessing, whether it's a boy or a girl, because there are a lot of people suffering from rejection issues and some pain because their dad wanted a girl, a boy came. Their mom wanted a boy, a girl came. And so we said, no. Like, any child is a blessing. And whoever it is that God brings our way is someone just want to love and appreciate. Yeah. So.
You were offered an opportunity to go to music school, sir. Louise is shaking her head already.
I fasted for this. And then nothing.
You had been offered an opportunity. Why did you turn that down?
I turned it down because I learned in the moment that not every good opportunity is the right opportunity. And in my gut, because I realized the weight of the moment, and I realized that I was at a crossroads. And then when I looked at it, I realized actually no, as great as it would be to go to the US and study and get an opportunity that not everyone has, that actually I feel like there's greater opportunities back here in Nairobi. And so I took the risk and made the decision to stay. And haven't regretted it, not even a single day. Yeah.
There's a tradition that I noticed. You go to your family every Christmas and have something? Is it a family tradition?
Yeah. In fact, actually what it is, the way it stands right now is Christmas Eve, we spend with my mom and dad, and then Christmas Day we spend with my other mom and dad. Yeah.
Have you done that religiously, for lack of a better word, every year?
Every year.
What's the importance of certain family traditions for you?
Yeah, family. I'll first say that actually one of the greatest challenges has been setting family traditions. And it's because of the nature of our lives and the nature of my work. I think traditions happen with a certain level of predictability. When you know, okay, at this time of the day I leave the house, and at this time of the day I come back, and on Saturdays I do this, and on Sundays I do this. The nature of my work is so random. Sometimes I have a gig on Saturday, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's something happening on Friday night, sometimes it's not. Sometimes my mornings are open and I'll wake up, roll out of bed at 10, and other times I'm out of the door by 6. And so one of the challenges really that I'm really looking forward to, that I'm placing upon ourselves even this year, is to try and come up with, okay, what are the things that make our family unit unique? Because tradition is culture, and culture is what creates unity. You feel like we're part of something that is us, the TETUs, the SHANIs. What is it that makes us unique, you know?
So it's good for the babies especially the children, because then they feel they belong to this family. Because in our family we do this and this and this and this.
Did you have family traditions yourself? So you had to learn.
Yeah, I had to learn because of the nature of my family. My dad having left early, and then after that, everyone for himself, God for us all. We everyone dealt with that in their different ways. And then meeting him and seeing how his family is so knit together was
it a culture shock?
not a culture shock. It was really nice to me. Yeah, it was a lovely thing to me. Yeah, but also shocking. Yeah.
Because one time I was doing a pre-match session and I had this couple. The guy came from a family where we use knives and forks and everything is done very decently and in order. Then the girl came from a family where you call anybody any name.
Yeah.
So they coming together and the guy would be like, she embarrasses me. She embarrasses me a lot. And the girl but this is how we talk to one another. And the guy has come from a place where etiquette is prime, so having to form that one culture, having to understand one another and forming that one culture was really something for them. But just talk about, the balance. Tetu, just talk about the balance. Like you said, your work is very unpredictable, yet you really value your family at the same time. And currently your wife is a stay-at-home mom. And I have absolute respect to women who stay home to raise their children. I say this all the time. Anybody can raise a business. It takes really something to raise a child, so much respect. But how does one then balance so that they do not overlook one side? Because probably even, after this interview, a call can come and say, hey, we need you somewhere, and then you've got to leave. How do you try to balance that so that the side of the family is not overlooked?
I tell people, funny enough, because I get the question a lot, the question of, as a musician, is it hard balancing the life of a musician with family life? And I tell people, well, yes, it is hard, but to some degree, it's actually even easier than people who work traditional jobs. Because believe it or not, I spend more time with my family than even someone who works a traditional job. Because generally what we'll do, I'll wake up a bit later in the morning, get up, we'll have breakfast together, and then we'll hang out. I'll maybe do a little bit of work here and there, but then I'm available, we'll play with Taji, we'll watch cartoons together, whatever. I'll go do my thing, maybe come back in the evening. Once the baby's asleep, then now becomes sort of we have our little individual unwind sessions, and then we have now our time together. And so it's just been priority. Like, people get shocked, like, I don't go out that much. People think that because I'm an entertainer that I'm always out. Actually, I'm only out when I'm entertaining. But then when I'm not, I'm home, and she can really attest to that. Like, when you have a beautiful family, the ideal situation is that they are the people you want to be with. Yeah, that you've worked on that relationship and on that family to the degree that actually when you're not working, that's where you want to be. And I'm happy to say I've reached that point. I love to spend time with my son. I love to spend time with my wife. And so, yeah, probably after this is done, we're probably going to head home and spend some more time together.
So your final thoughts, Louise, to all the young ladies out there, probably they're getting into marriage now, they're in their first 2 years or 3 or 4 like yourself, or they're just planning to get married. What would you say to them?
Well, what I can say is, if I remember, the first scripture that pops into mind is submit to your own husband. And what that means is that you learn what it is that submission means to him. Because what I do will probably look like I don't even have the word. Like, it will not be as intriguing to someone else, and yet it pleases him, and yet it works for us. And submit one to another. Like, find out what works for you, and not comparing, because comparison is what just kills families.
That's true.
And you want to be like so and so. You want to have their car, their money, their home, their Insta stories, and yet you don't know what's the behind scenes. You'd rather just build your own, have your authentic little marriage, family, yeah, and it takes work.
Well, I couldn't add anything to that. Just build your own, submit to your own. To your own. You got to understand your partner. You got to learn your partner, learn how to love your partner, learn what makes it work for the two of you. You can't copy paste. No, you don't compare. Don't put yourself under any pressure. That's all the time that I've had right over here. We've come to you from the Harvest Restaurant at the Village Market. You can come out here, hang out in this place like I hope that the Shanis are going to do immediately after this, so that they get to spend some time together. I don't know whether they need to listen to music or something, but whatever it is, there's great ambience over here. And I told Billa, my producer, I told her she's not taking me anywhere lower than this, because there's life and there's light and it's bright. Well, that's all the time we've had for you today, both on This Is Us and Life and Style Relationship Wednesday. Keep it right here. Tomorrow is Artistic Thursday, but join me again next Wednesday.